Valentine's Day, love in the air, baby on the way. But by the end of that night, two hearts stopped beating. And in Birmingham, folks were left asking, why would anyone do this? For 20-year-olds Angelia Webster and Christian Norris, February 14th was supposed to be simple. A date night, a movie, a little laughter before the baby came. They'd been planning their Disney-themed baby shower, Moana or Maui. That was the big question. Christian had already picked the name 7. He said it meant completion, the moment they'd finally become a real family. They were that kind of couple people rooted for. Young, goofy, inseparable. Angelia had just graduated from John Carroll Catholic High. Christian was chasing music dreams while keeping a steady job to take care of her. Their socials were full of clips. Her laughing in the passenger seat, him rapping in the background, both talking about the future like it was guaranteed. Friends would comment relationship goals, and honestly, they weren't wrong. They were two kids growing up together, trying to do things right. Angelia was 6 months pregnant. She'd been showing already, hand on her belly, every time someone mentioned the baby. Christian talked about being a dad like it was his life's mission. He wanted to teach his child about the world, about loyalty, about how to stand tall no matter what life threw. They were ready. And that's what makes what happened next so hard to understand. That evening, around 5 p.m., they left their home on 20th Place, Ensley. Angelia in black and white pants, pink beads in her hair. Christian in a black sweater and army green shoes. They drove off in their white Ford Taurus, smiling, hopeful, totally unaware that this ride would be their last. When morning came, Angelia's mother, Tamisha Sistrunk, noticed something off. Her daughter's room was empty. No text, no call, nothing. She dialed Angelia's number, it went straight to voicemail. Then she tried Christian, same thing. And that's when her stomach dropped. This wasn't like them. Angelia always checked in, always. Hours turned into a full day. The families started calling around, posting on social media, asking if anyone had seen them. Flyers went up, comments flooded in. People reshared their photos, hoping for a lead. The Birmingham Police Department officially opened a missing persons case. Everyone prayed they'd just gone somewhere together. Maybe a little trip, maybe their phones died. But deep down, people knew something wasn't right. For 2 long days, nothing. No calls, no sightings, just silence. Then, on February 16th, around 3:50 p.m., detectives got a call about a parked car in the Wylam area, a white Ford Taurus sitting still on 10th Avenue. At first, it looked ordinary, until they got closer. Inside were Angelia and Christian, both shot multiple times. Gone. Word spread fast. Videos stopped. Timelines went quiet. The couple everyone watched grow together had been taken. Just like that. Families gathered at the scene, crying, asking questions nobody could answer. People were hurt, angry, confused. How could anyone do that to 2 kids just trying to live? Detectives began piecing it together. The location didn't make sense. Wylam wasn't an area either of them visited often. The car had been parked there for hours. So what happened between the time they left home and the moment that car stopped moving? Who were they meeting, or who was following them? Police promised to find out. They started reviewing surveillance cameras, knocking on doors, checking phone records. They told the families to hold on, but waiting felt like torture. Meanwhile, Birmingham's community could feel the tension. Too many shootings, too many young people dying. Folks were tired, scared, angry. Some whispered about revenge, others about jealousy. But everyone agreed this had to stop. The city of Birmingham didn't sleep that weekend. Everyone wanted to know who could have done it and why. Detectives were working nonstop, trying to piece together what had happened in those missing 48 hours between Angelia and Christian leaving home and their bodies being found. The first big clue came from cameras around 10th Avenue. A few clips showed their white Ford Taurus driving into the area, followed by a dark sedan that seemed to be shadowing it. No one got out, no signs of a struggle, just 2 cars in silence. That was enough to raise eyebrows. Detectives canvassed the area, asking anyone who might have seen something. A few witnesses mentioned hearing what sounded like fireworks that night, but no one thought much of it. And by the time police arrived, the car was already sitting cold, parked and forgotten. Across the city, people couldn't stop talking about it. On social media, their friends posted tribute videos, baby shower photos, and clips of Christians' freestyles.
I'm in the truck getting rich, I'll retrieve. I catch me up, make a run and flee. I'm on the east with a big ass gleeve. You think shit sweet, just try it and see. I got a little mood and bad with the jerk. He ain't doing no talk, just up in the sweet. How as you gangster, but talk to police. Can't be with these niggas, they can't get me straight.
The grief felt personal, even to strangers. This wasn't just news, it was heartbreak. Tamisha, Angelia's mom, could barely speak. Every time someone asked what happened, she'd just shake her head and say, "It don't make sense. It really don't." And she was right. It didn't. Police started tracing phone pings, hoping to find where the couple's trail went cold. They also checked messages, calls, anything that could point to trouble before that night. That's when the whispers started. People in the area began suggesting this might have been personal, maybe connected to a beef, maybe someone Christian knew, but no one wanted to say names. Folks were scared, so detectives leaned harder into surveillance. That's when they spotted it. The same dark sedan leaving the scene minutes after the shooting. The driver's face wasn't clear, but the car had a partial plate number. A small break, but a start. They ran it through every system they had. The lead came back to someone with gang ties, a name already known to local police. That shifted the tone of the case. Maybe it wasn't random. Maybe this was payback for something deeper. Something nobody wanted to say out loud. As the investigation deepened, the police gave a short press statement. They didn't share names, but they made it clear this was being treated as a homicide, and they were looking into connections across multiple neighborhoods. They asked the public for tips, offering a reward, and tips started coming in, slowly but steady. In one interview, Officer Truman Fitzgerald said something that stuck.
If we don't bring these people to justice, there will be retaliation. So we owe it to the public to stop the bloodshed now.
And that's why Officer Truman Fitzgerald says they're working in communities like Smithfield, where 4 men were shot and killed, and Wylam, where a young couple was gunned down last week. They want to find out who committed these crimes and make sure it doesn't happen again.
We have very great intelligence officers that monitor the streets, they monitor what's being said. So anytime we get word of possible retaliation, we act on it.
He says they also need people in these communities to speak out about anything they might have saw last Friday.
We know tips have come in, however, we are encouraging anyone with information. There is no tip that's too small. If you know anything, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can contact Metro Alabama Crime Stoppers anonymously, and if your tips lead to an arrest, you could get thousands of dollars. But Fitzgerald says it's bigger than the reward money.
Friday we lost 7 if you count Angelia's baby. So 7 people lost in our city.
Community leaders started showing up in Wylam and Inslee, walking door to door, talking to residents about peace, about cooperation. But when fear runs deep, words only go so far. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Angelia's and Christian's families were planning funerals instead of baby showers. Balloons that were meant to celebrate life were now being released into the sky in their memory. News stations replayed clips of the young couple smiling and holding ultrasound photos. Commentators asked the same question over and over: what went wrong? And through all that noise, one truth kept echoing: no arrests, no closure, no peace. Months passed and the case still felt stuck. 4 months after the murders, there were still no arrests, no clear suspects in custody. Families were exhausted from waiting, showing up at police headquarters again and again, asking for updates that barely changed. But even as those efforts grew, the pain didn't fade. Angelia's mother still visited her daughter's room every day, touching her baby clothes, sitting on the bed, whispering prayers for justice. And Christian's friends still played his old songs, his verses about loyalty, struggle, and family, now hitting different. Birmingham as a whole felt the weight. Murals went up, vigils were held. Folks lit candles, said their names, and promised to remember. But the truth? People are tired of promises. They want accountability. Police say they're still working the case, still taking tips, still pushing for leads. Metro Alabama Crime Stoppers continues to offer rewards for any solid information. But time keeps moving, and every day without an arrest feels like salt in a wound. 7 lives were lost that week across Birmingham. 7, if you count Angelia's unborn baby. 7 futures gone in the blink of an eye. This wasn't just a story about 2 young people who loved each other. It was a story about a community at war with itself, about mothers who keep burying their kids, and about a love that never got to grow old. So if you know something, say something, because silence only protects the wrong people. And for Angelia, Christian, and little 7, the least we can do is keep their names alive. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Every story told here isn't just about crime. It's about love lost, lessons learned, and the people left behind trying to make sense of it all. Angelia and Christian deserved more time, but maybe their story can remind us how fragile peace really is, how fast a moment of anger can turn forever. If this story moved you, don't let it disappear into your feed. Share it, talk about it, because that's how we keep their names alive. And if you want more stories like this, stories told with truth, care, and no sugarcoating, hit subscribe and turn on the bell.